extremely powerful when you have mayors speaking from the same sheet of music. And, since you've touched on a number of different things, particularly all four on the state level. One, education, career and technical education, great community college results right here in the RioPlex. Two or three things that are on your agenda that would be helpful from an economic, we'll just stick to economic development items, including education and workforce, community colleges, universities, that would be helpful for Austin to take up and ideally pass this legislative session. What are two or three things on, and let's focus more, community colleges, universities, and economic development incentives that could help fuel growth in the RioPlex. And then I'm going to ask a federal tariff question.
I'm always at STC, but one of the things we're always looking at, of course, is assistance with funding. A lot of our community is still, I can't say lower income, but they need an opportunity, and we're fortunate that, for example, STC, now we have STC A&M and UT-RGV, but everybody's setting forth an effort to try to make sure that our kids that don't have the ability, do have the ability. STC has a foundation that I'm very active with that is really doing that, and it used to be more about tuition, but no, it's now about assisting the student, especially when we realized 2 weeks ago about flooding and students may not have the housing or they may not have transportation. And one of the things that I think needs to change is maybe loosen up a little bit what the universities and colleges can use and utilize, because it is very restricted. And that's one of the things that I think possibly should be done. Loosen up the restrictions on how a college or university can use funds.
Thank you, Mayor.
I would echo those comments about, providing more funding for our community colleges. In Brownsville, we have Texas Southmost College, is one of the oldest community colleges in the state. I would also add, more funding for transportation. I think that's something that we all face as a region, that we are growing into a metroplex, right? And we need more connectivity, and we need to be able to accelerate that growth when it comes to transportation funding.
That's right.
And in our community, in the city of Harlingen, we have UT-RGV that has really expanded their footprint in our community when it comes to the medical sector. So recently they received a $30 million grant to create the Diabetes Center of Excellence in our community, which for those of you that live along the border know how important that is. We do have a high prevalence of diabetes in our community because we have really good food. And so on both sides of the border. And so research is important. They will have a limb preservation clinic. Also, this is going to provide opportunities not only to support our community and ensure that we're living healthy, long lives, also providing job opportunities for our community. So it's important that they get the additional funding to be able to open that university, the Institute of Neuroscience in our community, the podiatry school in our community. We're putting out doctors all throughout the region in Hidalgo County and in Cameron County. And this is going to elevate and provide more opportunities for higher incomes, and with higher incomes provides more investment in our community as well. And so we are very supportive of both UT-RGV and TSDC. TSDC has been a incredible economic engine within our community. They have, for the longest time, what I learned upon taking office and really advocating for TSDC is that the way that they are funded is by job placement. So they are very motivated to ensure that their students obtain high-paying jobs, so that way they are funded and be able to operate. And so TSDC has been a real champion for our students in our community. And I think all of us here want to see every single community college within our region get the funding that it needs, because that means more workforce in our community, higher paying jobs, and it's going to benefit everyone in this room, because I know everyone is centered around workforce to be able to meet the demands of the investment in our communities.
Thank you.
So here we go. All right. So I totally agree with my colleagues here. As far as the economic development, though, I think the issue that we're facing, and everybody throughout the state, is the issue of water. So our source, our water source, we need more funding or we need funding, period, to explore alternate water sources. We can't depend on just the Rio Grande Valley, River for our water source. There has to be some sort of alternative sources. So that's one thing I believe that would help our economic development, is to have ample and plenty of water source, because without water we can't grow.
Glenn, if I may.
Sure.
Actually, she touched upon that, and I think that's something that's very important that we really want to discuss. One of the issues we have, and you can't have economic development or anything without water. So one of the things we're doing in McAllen, we're interconnected with Mission Far, Edinburgh, San Juan, Alamo. It keeps on going. And we know that, I don't like to say it this way, but we're the big dogs. But that's the way it is in McAllen. So we're looking at a project of about $250 million to now, instead of just depending on the Rio Grande River, to start pulling from groundwater. And it's something that we're doing it, but it really affects Mission, Edinburgh, Far, San Juan, Alamo, because of the interconnects. Whenever they need, we should be hopefully be able to produce. That's very important.
The good news is this session is one of the things that we're advocating for. Part of a huge coalition is much more resources into our water infrastructure. And Senator Perry has been a great leader, and it was something Governor Abbott mentioned in his State of the State. So I'm pretty convinced something good will happen that will benefit the RioPlex. And also on the community college side, I think one of the great successes of last regular session was HB 8 that our former chair, Massey Variel, pushed very hard in the business community to provide $650 million new funds tied to credentials of value. Extremely important, super successful, and we're fighting to make sure that there's additional funding and we could continue to maintain the integrity of these credentials of value.